Coming up on Signal by Sony, which laptop is the right one for you? I'm going to help you find the answer to this very common question.
And we'll hear from the man who brings the heroes and villains of the DC universe to life in the MMO everybody is waiting for. Signal by Sony starts right now.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony.
And I'm Melody. Thanks for joining us. As you might have guessed, Anthony and I are about to give you the lowdown on all things Sony.
That's right. Our goal with this show is to go in-depth on their latest movies and games, test out some of their latest gear, and hear from the experts who know how to use them. Now, we're not here to push products on you. We're here to help you do some research so you can have a more informed opinion when you're out there shopping. But our first order of business right now is something very near and dear to my heart, comic books. Like, I know that when my friends and I were little, we used to pretend to be superheroes and make up our own powers. Is that a boy thing, or do girls do that too?
No, we did that. I convinced people I could fly. They believed me. I had a hard time proving it, but you know, we gathered around and used our imagination.
This was last week. This was not when she was a child. That's just who she hangs out with.
Yeah.
No, but if you are the kind of person who dreamt of being a superhero, if you're a big comic book fan, a big MMO fan, you're probably anxious for DC Universe Online to come out. Okay, first of all, this game lets you create a whole new character of your very own, and that means hero or villain. Plus, PC and PS3 players are going to get to be able to play the game together, so that's huge.
That's really cool cross-platform stuff.
Absolutely. Now, DCU has been in development a long time, and one of the big creative brains behind it is Jim Lee. Now, for those not in the know, Jim Lee is a legendary comic book artist, the co-publisher of DC Comics, and the executive creative director of DCU. And I am a huge fan, so it was a real treat to meet him in his San Diego studio and talk to him about his career, his art style, and how he approaches his characters. Jim, thanks so much for being with us today. You've been in comics now for over 25 years. You've worked with all of the big properties in comics.
Yes, I've been very, very fortunate. Yes.
Your interpretations of the characters are very, very recognizable to comic book fans. Mm-hmm. How did it feel to kind of have Sony come up to you and be like, okay, the way you do it?
Flattering and terrifying at the same time, to be honest. To the extent that they are using the designs for the DCUO, I mean, it was, you know, very, very flattering, and at the same time, a huge, huge task, because, you know, a lot of these characters I hadn't ever drawn before, and so you're constantly having to go over scores of DC characters and trying to figure out, well, what makes this character look the best.
Yeah, and working on such iconic characters and making a game with them, why an MMO as opposed to a game where you get to be these characters?
For me, I've always loved MMOs. I personally like creating my own character, my own take on a hero. That's the creative side of me saying, like, I can do better, you know, than what these guys have done. You know, Batman, who's he, right? So I love, you know, creating my own mythology, creating my own character, and then interacting with all these other great characters in this environment and this world that, you know, so many people around the world are familiar with. So
making a game where people get to create these characters and put them alongside their favorite characters. Right. How do you work that into the story? How does my guy meet Superman?
We really made it critical and integral to the game that what you create is part of the storyline. So the DCUO exists, and then all of a sudden this thing happens where Luthor's he's come back in time, and he's creating a new army of heroes and villains to defeat Brainiac in the future, and none of the heroes or villains in the current continuity know whether to trust him or not. And so you as a player are one of the legion of heroes and villains that Luthor has kind of spawned. We really wanted to give you a reason why you exist in the DC universe in the first place, and then also make the sort of grander storyline a mystery and something that drives you forward in the gameplay.
So the events that are built into the game, I know with a lot of MMOs, you get to a point a couple months in and you're like, oh, well, let's go to that cave again. Oh,
right.
Well, let's beat up this guy again.
Sure.
How are you keeping the content in DCU dynamic and changing for players?
What we have here is Gotham and Metropolis. We have like the Batcave, we have Arkham Asylum, we have a lot, like Smallville, like slivers of other environments, but there's so much more stuff in the DCO that isn't in this initial launch that we're going to be adding to the world. So it's always a work in progress as we're creating new things in the comics and sort of interpreting them and bringing them to the game.
We were originally expecting the game in November.
Right.
When are we going to be seeing it now? Do you know?
I believe it's early next year. I don't think they have a specific date that they've picked out, but it would be first quarter of 2011.
Very cool.
Yeah.
When you go in, are you usually a hero or a villain?
I usually create a villain, honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah, sure, because I draw heroes all the time, and it's always from the hero-centric point of view, and the villains always seem so wrong. But if you create your own villain, then you start seeing like, you know what, maybe this whole world's a little screwed up.
I'm a tortured soul.
Exactly, right. Or like, who elected these authority figures?
Awesome. Well, Jim, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Appreciate it.
I'm going to email you because I got an idea about an expansion for the Heckler.
Sure. Okay. All right.
It's just you and me.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
Thanks for that report, Anthony. I'm back here in the studio with Mr. Ron Richards.
Hello.
He actually has its own comic book show called iFanboy. I'm guessing you're pretty excited about DC Universe.
Excited really is an understatement.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm kind of scared about the amount of time I'm going to lose playing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, looks like a lot of fun.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't bring Ron on to talk about comic books. I actually brought him on to talk about Android apps for the holidays. He's a regular host on App Judgment, a show that reviews mobile apps 3 times a week. And you're a bit of an Android expert.
I am the Android guy.
Yeah.
So,
So it's good to have you with me because I've got the new Sony Xperia X10 phone, which is an Android phone.
It's a nice phone too.
Yeah, it's pretty shiny. And with Thanksgiving rolling around and the holiday season coming up, I thought I'd show you a couple good apps to have in your back pocket to get you through the holiday season. So first off, what do you think of when you think of the holidays?
Food, Thanksgiving,
Nom, nom,
eating,
nom.
exactly.
Yes.
And there's no better tool than the Android platform. All the great apps out there based around cooking.
Yeah.
Epicurious, Big Oven. These are some great apps that really give you recipes right to your phone. They give you the complete breakdown of all the ingredients you need. They even generate a shopping list. So when you go to the store, like me, I'm on the bus, I'm researching the meal. On the way to the supermarket, I generate my shopping list. I go get my ingredients, go home, I'm ready to cook.
Actually, Epicurious right now has Oktoberfest dishes, Thanksgiving dishes, and fall desserts and stuff.
You don't even need to
really
search.
nice.
They suggest a lot of their timely seasonal recipes that they're suggesting to you. And so when you've got leftovers of turkey, I saw a great turkey casserole recipe in there that seemed really easy to make.
Leftovers.
Exactly, leftovers. So.
And actually, I should mention all of these apps are free that we're going to talk about.
And that's the great thing. Like a site like Epicurious, they want you to have the app, so it's
Yeah.
free. Use it because they want you using their recipes. They want you using their site.
Actually, one of my favorite food apps on the Android phone right now is called Seasonal Harvest. It's a list of vegetables and produce and things that are in season right now, based on your locale. So in California, you only have a month left for asparagus.
Which is great because I never know those seasonal
Yeah.
things, and so you get a craving for some sort of vegetable, and you go to the store and you can't find it. This, gets it out of the way, tells you what's in season, and then you can actually use that, go over back to the recipe apps, and use those ingredients in your recipes.
There
so
you go.
it's great.
And hey, avocados all year long in California.
We are blessed.
Thank you very much. Well, if you're planning on doing a bit of shopping this holiday season, there are a lot of also cool apps for that.
Yep.
Namely, my favorite is the barcode scanner.
Barcode scanner is one of my favorite apps, hands down. It's so simple, so easy to use. All it does is it uses the camera in your phone. You can scan any barcode, and it instantly then searches the web, and it's great for pulling up how much a product might cost. So if you see a product in the store, you just zap the barcode. You can see how much it is at other stores. Or on TV or things like that. You can find out where those prices can come from. It's great for a lot of stores have price matching.
Yeah, a lot of stores have caught wind of that.
Exactly.
People are coming in, they're like, hey, I can get it for this much online.
And it makes you, the consumer, more powerful because you can get a better price. So,
actually, they do that at the Sony Style store. So
even better.
If you got a little thing you want to buy, they'll match it.
Another app that helps with shopping that I love, which isn't what this app was made for, but is a great byproduct, is Google Goggles, which is the Google's experimental visual search application. Uses your camera as well, but instead of scanning the barcode, you take a picture of the product and it scans it and then searches the web based off the picture.
Yeah.
So how many times have you been out somewhere and you see a shirt or you see a product or something, you don't know what it is? Just take a picture of it, it searches Google, tells you not only what it is, where you can get it, how much it could be. So it's like, it totally just gives you the whole web straight from your camera.
Visual search.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Well, thanks, Ron, for stopping by and helping me out with this one. And if you want to get some other opinions, be sure to read through the online customer reviews for all the apps, the free ones and the ones you want to pay for. I know apps are pretty cheap, but in the end, you might want to save yourself a couple bucks and spend it on food instead. Anyway, now here's Anthony with all the winners of some of the product giveaways we told you about in our last show. Anthony, take it away.
Thanks, Melody. Last episode, we asked you what your first Sony product was, and we thought we'd give a couple of you guys some nice new ones. Dane Miller writes to tell us his first Sony product was the Sony Media Center PC with a TV tuner. And something tells me if you were rocking a Media Center PC, you're still watching a lot of media on your computer, so we're going to send you a PC gaming headset. It's got some great surround sound modes that ought to make watching stuff even better. Alex Roy says, my first Sony product was the PlayStation, and I still love it to death. I still love mine. And the PlayStation is celebrating its 15th anniversary this year. Kind of hard to believe, right? Well, since you're a gamer from way back, we're going to send you a PC gaming headset as well. And finally, Cherie Nagin writes to say, to show my age, my first Sony product was, of course, a Sony Walkman AM/FM cassette player. Oh, the cassette Walkman. Pour one out for our old friend. After 31 years, the cassette version of the Walkman has been discontinued. Now, we're not going to call you old, Cherie. Instead, we're just going to update your media players with a net box, just like the one we reviewed last episode. You can have your grandson come over and hook it up for you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm still a little choked up about the Walkman, so I'm going to switch gears here before I fall apart. Let's talk laptops. You know, you wouldn't think about running a marathon in combat boots, and you wouldn't go drag racing in a minivan. And just like with shoes and cars, there are different laptops for different purposes. So I'm about to offer you some tips on picking the right mobile computer for your needs. Let's take a field trip to the Sony Style store in Palo Alto, California, where they have the full range of VAIO laptops for us to check out. So 3 questions you want to ask yourself when you're looking for a new laptop is, where am I going to use it, what am I going to use it for, and how long am I looking to own it? I'm standing next to a display of netbooks. This is the Sony VAIO W series. Netbooks are great because they're really light and they're super portable, but they don't make great main machines, and they're not the kind of machines you're going to own for a very extended period of time. These are great for portable tasks like checking your email, surfing basic websites, but actually, if you don't need a full keyboard and trackpad, you could even substitute a tablet. Sony doesn't make a tablet, but you could also substitute your smartphone like the Sony Xperia X10 and do probably about 90% of what a netbook does. So, netbooks, super light, super portable, but they're only for very, very simple tasks. Now, if you're the kind of person looking for a main machine, something that's a general, all-around, everyday computer, here's some of the stuff that you're going to want to look for. These computers are great for every day, but you want to make sure you're not somebody who does a lot of specialized work. Do you edit video? Do you play a lot of high-end 3D games? The workhorse is not going to be for you. This is great for people who live their life on the computer and need it to do basic everyday tasks. Now, the Sony version of this computer is the E series, the EA and the EB. They both come with that Core i5 processor I was talking about, so you're a little future-proof there right out of the box. You can also get up to 640 gigs of hard drive space, so you can get all that media into one place too. Screen size, you can go either 14-inch or up above that 15 mark, so perfect for HD video if that's what you're looking for. Really great all-around computer. Now, if you're looking for something that is more specialized, maybe you're a business traveler or you do high-end specialized work, something like video editing or PC gaming, then you're going to want to go even bigger. So now we're getting into laptops that are for people who do very specialized high-end things. Like take, for instance, gaming. I do a ton of gaming, and you want a completely different feature set in a gaming laptop than you do for a general use laptop. For instance, this is the VAIO F series. It's got a lot of great high-end stuff that gamers are really gonna love. First of all, it's got a 16.4-inch screen. I mean, it's gigantic, and it's also full HD resolution. That's 1080p. Of course, looking at it, you can tell this is not a laptop for road warriors. And we've seen that there are a lot of trade-offs that you make depending on what you need in a computer. But if you're the kind of person who doesn't want to make any trade-offs and is willing to invest a little bit more into future-proofing your laptop, there are computers that have everything for you. Let's take a look at one. So as you've seen, you've got a ton of options, and you've probably noticed walking into a store that there's a huge price range on laptops too. You've probably seen some higher-end ones that have prices from $2,000 to $4,000 and kind of wondered, why, right? Well, this is the Sony VAIO Z. It's Sony's kind of high-end premium laptop. And the reason for the price premium is this can include just about everything that we've seen that's great about the other laptops. My sister has a computer just like this, and it's kind of taken the place of her entertainment center. You can watch the HD video on it, you can do all the multitasking that you need to do. It can take the place of your TV in a smaller space. So it's very, very cool, and if you're looking to make no compromises, you may want to look at a high-end laptop like this. So if you want to do more research, there are some great places to do it. You can check out reviews and customer reviews at sites like CNET, Notebook Review, and of course Sony Style. If you're a gamer, you want to head to FutureMark. You can put in any game you want and it will tell you exactly what specs you need in the laptop. So that is super great. I have already decided on my laptop, and it is this one. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it like a regular person would. Happy hunting, and back to the studio. All right, I'm back in the studio with my pal Melody, who has another set of criteria for choosing a laptop.
Yeah, I think, of course, it's first and foremost most important for you to get the right internal components for your computer. So the right processor, the right storage capacity for you. But there's also another way you can kind of personalize your VAIO, and that's with styles and colors and materials that they're using in the new VAIO Signature Collection that's out right now.
Yeah, those are really great. I was looking at the VAIO X that comes in gold, and you would think gold electronics sounds a little, like it would be just really too bright maybe, or too in your face, but this is a really understated and like classic looking piece of electronics. It's really awesome.
Such a nice computer with a solid state drive and gold and it's light. I love it, and I also really like the arabesque on the E series. That's got this matte black and then these etchings that make it really arabesque looking.
Yeah, it's actually textured on there, which is like really amazing looking.
Beautiful, and you're not sacrificing power, which I think is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
So you kind of look good while having an awesome computer. So. Well, while we're talking about VAIOs, I've got a very special coupon just for you. Use the code SIGNALVAIO when you check out at sonystyle.com and you get 15% off of any VAIO accessory. So that includes things like bags and keyboard skins and mouse covers and all that good stuff. Well, that's all we have time for today. We hope you like the show, and we're always happy to get your feedback, so email us at signal@revision3.com or send us a tweet at signal_by_Sony. And if you're so inclined, you can follow me at iMelody.
And me at A. Carboni. For now, this is Anthony and Melody signing off for Signal by Sony. We'll see you next time.
Bye. We love you.
I may get me one of them signature VAIOs.
Right?
Yeah.
What color? Pink?
I think, there's like a solid black, like a matte black.